I first came to know the Gospel IRA back in the 70s. I was working in a little church in Lawrence, South Carolina there, and I went to this restaurant and talked with them about putting a rack inside the restaurant. And they would have a line forming in the restaurant there, so we put it right there in a very visible spot. And we started putting the Gospel IRA soul winning booklets in that rack way back as far as, I think, 1976. And we would put them in there each week and they would get gone. And I calculated one time, the best of my recollection, we probably did about 30,000 soul winning booklets from the Gospel IRA just in that one rack or alone there at that restaurant back in those days, back in the mid to late 70s. So actually at home, I think I have a collection of every one of those up in the attic that I collected of one of each one of the soul winning booklets from the Gospel IRA. So they're pretty special. His materials were just so easy to understand, and I didn't have a lot of education. I was a dropout when I got saved, and so even though I got some, I'm not a seminary trained preacher, and I guess I just like simple, plain teachings, and Dr. Greene's ministry has really met that need of helping me grow and be discipled, and now I promote it among our young Christians and people needing to grow. And one thing I guess about Dr. Greene, he never gave a lot of personal illustrations. He just gave a lot of scripture. So I strongly recommend his books and all his materials. And so he's been a great blessing to help me doctrinally and just to grow. And I've benefited from the entire ministry of the Gospel IRA over the years. But I just appreciate the whole culture and his philosophy and the simple fact that he was just saved as a farmer's boy and just simple roots, but yet God blessed him and led him to do a great work, and his ministry continues. I hear testimonies all the time of, I'll ask someone how they came to know the Lord, and they'll say it was through the Gospel IRA radio ministry or some of the books or materials. So I just appreciate all that the ministry has done over the years.